What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Joe Lockett. Y'all know what it is. Joe Lockett 101. Y'all know when y'all see me sitting in this room. Y'all know when y'all know what this interview is all gonna be about. It's unfiltered. This is where people come and tell their truth. The headlines is one thing, but right here on 101 with your boy Joe Lockett, we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. We're gonna get down to the truth. Thank you guys for locking in with us today. Today on this show, man, y'all know my background is political radio talk show host, right? Been doing it for years. Well, I'm back. But just at a different level, y'all. Today, got a candidate in the building running for district. It's a hot commodity right now. They want to sit down with your boy and tell their truth today. We have the one and only Mr. Jonathan Hatton. He's in the building. Welcome to the show.
Hey, appreciate it, man.
How's it going?
It's great. It's going great.
Man, I see you got your green and blue on over there,
man,
looking all good.
I'm trying to do a
Okay.
little coordination. Man.
Okay,
Got to
coordinate. How life been treating you, man?
Wonderful, man.
Everything's going good for you?
Absolutely blessed, man. Beyond measure. God
Okay.
is good.
Okay.
God is real good.
So this audience for people who don't know you, let's go ahead and introduce you a little bit. Tell everybody who you are.
Okay. I'm Jonathan Hatton.
Mhm.
I'm a proud product of Birmingham City Schools. I
Mhm.
finished Angela High School in '96. I went on there. I went to Jacksonville. I pledged. Came back home. My father got
Pledge
ill.
what?
Pledge Kappa, man.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Kappa
Okay.
man.
Okay. You're a Kappa. You ain't no Q or Alpha.
No,
Okay.
man. There's only one way.
Okay.
Only one way.
Here we go.
I pledged in '97, came
Mhm.
back home, finished Miles in '03 with a BA in political science.
Mhm.
Went on from there. I
Mhm.
worked in the social work aspect for a little while. Um, then I went to state. I went and got my certification for teaching.
Mhm.
That was '07. Come back, still not, because I love learning. So
Right.
I go back
Mhm.
and I started in 10. I started at West Alabama.
Mhm.
I finished West Alabama with dual majors,
Right.
dual degree. Um, so the degree is Master of Art in Teaching, Social Science, but then I added psychology, counseling, and testing to that
Mhm.
because I've been interested with that.
Okay.
Went into the field for about 7 years. I worked for a mental health agency out in Irondale.
Okay.
And there, I got the call to preach while I was there. So I've been pastoring since 2014.
Okay.
So that make about 10 years now.
Okay.
My first pastorate was a little bit out there. It was in Bessemer on the McCullough lines. Lovely
Okay.
people.
Awesome.
But I learned a lot while I was there.
Mhm.
Come here. I've been in Birmingham now 2.5 years, be 3 in September. What most people know about John, about Jay Lee, as most of my friends call me, or Jay Hat,
Okay.
they know that I'm a servant. Everything I do, all my jobs have been servant based. And I'm purposeful. I'm very intentional. And the things that I do it with 150 speed. If I
Mhm.
can't do it 150, I don't go. And that's just the way I'm wired. So I love people, man. I love talking to people. I did counseling for a little while on the side. I just love helping people, man. And that's just who I am.
You know, I've sat in front of a lot of politicians, and now you're a pastor, but you're a politician now because you're
Yeah.
running for office on city council. And number one, congratulations on the move.
Thank you, man. Thank you, brother.
But you're sitting down in front of me now.
That's cool.
I'm a tough cat cookie when it comes to this stuff, man.
Okay.
Because I want to speak for the people, right? Because we want to ask you some questions, right?
That's good. Let's do it.
Because in this environment that we're in, everybody lies. You know what I'm saying? Everybody says this stuff on the campaign trail.
Yeah.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
Right? You got your nice little stump speech ready for me. You know what I'm saying? You got the things that you want to say that you have to say on the campaign trail. That's fine. But you say that you for us. This is city council. This is local.
Yeah.
Right? I got to ask you, Jay Hat, Jay Love, how we know we can trust you?
That's a good question. I believe trust is based on a person's credibility
Mhm.
and their history. When if you go and meet anybody and say, "What you know about that guy?" He's been the same way. I don't change.
Mhm.
What I mean, what I say, and I do what I'm gonna say. If I can't do it, I don't go. I think trust is earned. And so when you say earn, what do you mean by that? I think what people have to do is they have to value what I'm saying and then measure it on what I do.
Okay.
Right?
Mhm.
2 churches, and both of those churches without pastors. When I come in, I stabilize the ship. Right? That's been my mantra for the last 10 years. I've been the stabilizer. My students, I build trust because I'm a relationship guy. When people come to me, and a lot of my family, friends, I hold what you say to me to a high degree. If you say it to me, you ain't hearing it out in the street. People love that about me. So I value what you say to me,
Mhm.
and then you won't hear it out. And I think that's one of my highest ingredients of success. The fact that people trust me with their dark, deep secrets. You got to build trust in a real way. And too many times people say things and they can't do it. I'm not that dude, so I'm not gonna say it if I can't do it.
You know, running for District 8, that's over in the Inslee area, if I'm not
Mm.
mistaken. Okay, so city council, that's where you make decisions,
Right.
right? Tell me a little bit about the decision that city council will be making for the area. Well, what kind of decision does city council do for that Inslee area?
I'm glad you brought that up. So I did mention this in the bio, but I teach at Ramsey,
Okay.
right? I teach AP government and politics, have for the last 7-8 years. So I've been teaching government since '05. I've been teaching the students on national, state, and local politics, how policy operates and how it's formulated.
Mhm.
I've been teaching the students about the power of civic participation and the importance of voter engagement
Mhm.
and the vote. What I notice is as I'm teaching the local aspect, and as we're combing through the mayor council act, a lot of the things that people say, I laugh and chuckle sometimes because you don't have the power to do that. The mayor council act that was changed in 2016 changed the entire game. It prohibits or it restricted the councilor's power greatly. As a counselor, you are an advocator, you're a legislator, you can make appointments, and you also have the power to approve the budget. But then I think the most important power that the council has outside of the budget is their investigative powers. Those are the things that the council. So at the end of the day, it's not my job solely to bring jobs.
Mhm.
A lot of that falls with the mayor's office. It's not my job solely to bring businesses to the community because a
Mhm.
lot of that falls on the mayor. But advocating for my district, for example, 5 Points West area.
Okay.
We used to have a very good Winn-Dixie there,
Mhm.
right? Winn-Dixie leaves. For a long time, it sat stagnant. Then we were promised a grocery store. That grocery store failed. In comes another grocery store. But that's not excellence. People don't even want to go in there, right? As a counselor, what can I do? Well, we can cite, but after that, there's no power there. The real power lies with the people, always have and always will be. And getting the people to understand their power is one of the goals that I'm running. I want to educate the people on, help them to understand their power because their power is a lot greater than mine. So I just want to be an extension of the people I represent.
Okay. In saying that, right? And thank you for explaining that because I think a lot of people probably get that twisted. But here's the other part. I'm not going to let you off the hook here.
Don't do that.
How many people sits on the council for District 8?
Sits on the council for district.
Mhm.
So
How
we
many?
got 9 counselors.
Okay.
You got one rep or one counselor for each district.
Mhm.
You're representing District 8 has 23,000 people.
Okay.
There are 15,000 registered voters. But as the counselor, you represent all 23,000.
Okay. So when y'all sit in the room, explain this to me like I'm Beavis and Butthead. You sit in the room with the mayor, right?
Yeah.
Do all the people come in from the different districts in that area and sit down and talk with the mayor?
They can. It depends on what's going on.
So if you want to get something passed, just say if you're elected,
Right.
you're in District 8,
Right.
you want to get something done. How does that process go? Do you sit down with the mayor and talk to him? Or do you sit down with a group of people and you talk to them and y'all talk with the mayor and then y'all go from there? How does that work?
Great question. The magic number is 5.
Okay.
You need 5 counselors to approve or not approve the budget. Everything starts with the budget. So conversations about the budget start before the budget is passed. What you have to do is, and what I want to do, part of my platforms, I want to get with the community leaders. There are 12 neighborhoods. I want to bring them together and form a leadership council where we'll host and hold quarterly meetings. Inside of those meetings, we're going to create an agenda for District 8. See, a lot of people don't understand. I am not the end all be all. You hire me with your vote. So I literally work for you. That's how it goes. So in working for you, you have the job description. So bring in all the leaders, creating an agenda, and that's the agenda that I'm going to advocate for. That's the agenda that I'm going to fight for. And that's the agenda that I'm going to collaborate with my fellow counselors and the mayor on. bringing those items to District 8, the resources or the business plans or the development plans, whatever that looks like. That's what we're going to do.
And the reason I asked this question, because you know I'm going somewhere with this.
I figured it was set up.
Not a setup. I want people to understand the process, you
Right.
know, because a lot of times you get blamed for stuff, and politicians get blamed for stuff that they had no power in, but they promised that they could do it. Okay.
Exactly.
So I want people to understand as we're doing this sit down 101, to understand what they're getting with you and their vote. What's your limit of your power? And so what I'm going now is I want to go here. Once you get this agenda, right, you got to pass a budget with 5.
Correct.
This is where we have the problem. This is where y'all start twisting and turning, palms get sweaty. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And everybody started to saying, okay, what we need to do, and you started giving. They call it, I guess we call it a little pork. You know what I'm saying? Everybody giving and taking, shaking and baking, and we the residents or we the people are no longer in that room. We trusting you, and you make a deal that's not saying you, but people make deals that's not for us.
That is true.
Right? So how do we know, right, that in this process that you're not going to bend with your council? You sit there with the residents, right? And you go in that room, you got to make a deal, right, to get this passed.
Correct.
Are you going to be the person that's going to be the holdout and don't let it pass? Just asking that question, because this is usually what happens, right? And you come back and tell the people, well, we had to get it through because we had to get the budget through, time constraints, all this other good stuff. And the people is left with the same thing that we've always had.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate for us as a district, right?
Mhm.
Especially District 8 and 9.
Mhm.
But I'm running for 8.
Sure.
What we have to do, Joe,
Mhm.
is be honest with people. But more importantly, we got to start being transparent with the people.
Sure.
So that what that looks like is town halls. What that looks like is informing them in the neighborhood association groups. What that looks like is building relationships with the council. It starts there. And I'm a relationship guy. I'm a people's guy. Building the necessary relationships to get the things done that needs to be done. And that's even with the mayor. You got to establish a rapport with anyone and establish a relationship. And when people see that your heart is genuine and that your heart is pure, they'll meet you halfway and they'll compromise. So it's all about compromise. All government's all about compromise. It's a give and take, but it's an ability to be able to persuade. I do that every Sunday, but also know how to work across the aisle and get things done. So for me, it's really just doing what I've always been doing. I have deacon boards I have to work with. Those are compromises. But in order to get things done, I know what big picture looks like. And when you have big picture in mind, then you laser focus in on your vision, but you're also able to look at the extent of how to get it done. Sometimes it's process, sometimes it's procedure, or sometimes it's just plain old, hey, this is what's got to happen because these people are depending on me to bring back the resources that we're advocating for. And if it can't get done, I just have to tell the people it couldn't get done in this budget. We'll fight again next year. I got 4 years to make a difference. And each year, I want to be able to say that I did A, B, C, D on that agenda, B, C, D, E on that agenda. And if it ain't the first 4, maybe it's the bottom 5. But knowing where and how to navigate that legislative process is key. But it all starts with compromise.
You know, one thing that I've seen in politics, right, whether it's local or national, is communication is key.
Key.
And Jonathan, I'm not talking about you per se at this point. Just talking about politicians in general. I see you on the campaign trail, right? Knocking on the doors, loading up my mailbox, my windshields, right? Your people coming out, giving me shirts, all the good stuff. Then after the election, if you win, I got to get an appointment. I don't see you, right? You're too busy. You know, you say you for the people on the trail,
Right.
right? But then once you get out there, you got your people. Let me say this again. A lot of people work. You have your people.
Right.
Get back to us, right? Are you going to be a man of the people, or are you going to put your people on the people?
I'm gonna be a man for the people and with the people because that's how I operate wherever I am. Even in my pastorate, I'm not the one that tells. I roll up my sleeve and do. That's a difference.
Okay.
Because when your people see that you're willing to roll up your sleeves and get down in there with them, it makes them go harder, and it makes the relationships that they connect, and I'm modeling what I want to see, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yes, now I know I can't make every neighborhood meeting, but I'm gonna make them, the ones that I can. But I'll lie and say that I'm going all of them. I'm not gonna do that because I understand what entails with the job. There's A's and priorities, but at the same time, the people that will work for me will be just like me, and that's key because you're only as good as your good help.
Expectations is what I see that I'm hearing from you.
Yeah.
Right. Don't hype me up here, as Gorilla would say, right? Or Glorilla. Hype me up, right? Don't hype me up. And then once you get to the point of now the hype is over with, you disappear, right? And so I think that's a lot of things that happen with politicians, right? And that's why this one-on-one is important. Because I'm gonna make sure each politician that I talk with or anybody that I talk with in this platform, right? I want you to say what you mean and mean what you say.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's so me as a citizen here, and like I said, Inslee is my area. I want somebody there, you know what I mean? Friends is friends, but then there's business at the end of the day, right? And so I think a lot of people watching this show, it goes back to, okay, am I gonna put my friend in there, or am I gonna put somebody in there who's gonna actually do the work and get the business done?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because mostly everybody in Inslee knows everybody.
That is true.
So we all friends. So, the people that's running against you or people running with you, I know majority of all of y'all. Y'all are all my friends. But then at the end of the day, I can only vote for one person, right? And so I think, when we're sitting here and I'm talking with you, I hear everything you're saying. But I want to go here a little bit further, Jonathan.
Push.
You got a platform, right?
I do.
I want you to tell me or tell us, what do you plan to do if you're elected for City Council District 8?
Thank you for giving me that opportunity. Number one, the very first thing that I need to do and will do is seek and hire great help. My office will be developed strategically. The second thing that we're going to do from that office is we're going to develop an expectation, a level and a standard of excellence. And we start that with accountability and transparency. Now, let me dig for a second. Transparency, because you hear that word so much and everybody uses it. Everybody says it sounds real good, but look at the definition of transparency. And the key or the crux of that definition is proactive information, meaning I tell you beforehand, before the problem comes up. If you ask me the question, that's honesty. We're going to be transparent. How will we be transparent? Weekly, monthly, quarterly, keeping you informed about the information and the
Even when
legislation.
it's
bad or good.
Make you look bad?
The bad, you need bad. See, one of the things about me is I'm a thinker. So I weigh out everything. Bad makes good, and good makes bad, because you learn from the bad on how to make it good. There's no one that is successful that didn't fail. You learn to be successful by your failures. And so the office will be an extension of me in the sense that we're going to make sure that you hear from us, that we're there and we're visible, and that we're responsible and resourceful. We will answer the phone. We will call you back. It may not be what you want to hear. And I think I need to tell the people that, like, I can't fix it all, nor do I have all the answers. I can search, and we got teams. But at the end of the day, if there's something that the government can't do, you still deserve to hear that feedback and that call back, or the email back. You deserve that as a human. You deserve to get a response. Number 3, which is key to the second part, grabbing the 12 neighborhoods, bringing them to sit down at the table. Let's collectively, strategically create a strategic plan to come up with an agenda. What does that agenda entail? Taking all of the needs from the community, prioritizing those needs, and making sure that we implement what's needed. Now, how do you do that? With equity? Because see, not equality, but equity. Lottery system, incentives, whatever that case may be, whatever that looks like, but it will be fair and equitable. So at the end of the day, everybody will get touched with something. With the $100,000 over 4 years, that's $400,000. Everybody gonna eat off that 400,000 because it's the people's money. It's taxpayer dollars. And so spreading that out with a vision and a plan to make sure that we maximize those dollars and not just pumping them into parties and picnics. See, we've done that for a while, but look at our community. It's not right. So we gotta get that shored up. Fourthly, we're gonna make sure that we clean up D8. That's right, we're gonna clean D8 up. As I'm talking to business owners, as I'm talking to potential developers and investors, the very first thing they say is, man, the blight is serious. It's dirty. And it's going to run our businesses.
So a lot of people watching the show,
Yeah.
let's kind of pause here a minute because I
Let's
know
do
people saying, what's D8?
Okay. District 8 is Bush Hills, Bellevue, College Hills, Graymont, Rising West Princeton, Central Park, Ansley Highlands, Fairview, and then you come on down to the other side, you got Thomas, which is right over the viaduct from Arkadelphia, Tuxedo Heights, which is on the back end of Thomas. You come on down, you got Tuxedo Court, and then you got parts of Ansley. That creates the whole D8. It's a very large district. It goes all the way down to almost Fairfield. As a matter of fact, there are 3 streets in Fairfield that are in District 8. Don't ask me how that goes, but and we come all the way back down 3rd Avenue, all that Bynesville connecting to that, and then you come all the way back down 3rd Avenue and back up towards Arkadelphia. That's District 8.
So I want to dig into what you were just talking about before you go a little bit further.
Okay.
When you say cleanup,
Yes, sir.
what that look like?
Okay. So we're gonna do it quarterly.
Okay.
And I'm gonna start with the guys. We're gonna have men talk. We're gonna roll up our sleeves and we're gonna get this done. Because what I've realized, I've watched for the last 20 years, living in the district, I've literally watched Woodlawn do a U-turn. Not a 360, but a 180. So I've studied. How did Woodlawn make Woodlawn great again? I hate to use that in these current terms, but it is. It's thriving.
Right.
They created the Woodlawn Foundation. The Woodlawn Foundation partnered with other entities, brought them under that umbrella. They got the Jones Valley Teaching Farm. They got the education component. They got the healthcare component. They got the job development component. They got the early childhood. I mean, not early childhood, but early college going. They created their own community that they wanted to see. They started with housing, which brought in investors. But the very first thing they did was they cleaned it up. And so we're going to clean up because you can't keep your house clean one time. We're going to have to do this continuously. We're going to have to be good neighbors to our neighbors. Yes, you might have to cut a lot that don't belong to you, but it's going to increase your property value and it's going to enhance the property value of the entire block, street, and community, right? Once we do that, now we become attractive for businesses. We become attractive for more investors and for the corporations that will pour money into that 501c3 that we create.
Question: how do you plan on, if you're elected by the people, how are you planning on reaching the people after election day?
Very first thing we're going to do, we're going to go to each community. We're going to hold town halls. So I want the people to have their own input into that. Because what I'm understanding and seeing as I'm going and canvassing, everybody don't attend the neighborhood associations, but they'll attend the town halls more so than they would a neighborhood association. And I don't know if it's a timing issue or the availability issue, but whatever that is, we'll host those on Saturdays and give people more opportunities to get there. Once we do that, then the people will get a chance to speak their mind. Because a lot of times people just want to be heard or at least get a chance to express themselves. But we take all that collective information in, we use the data, and then we prioritize how we're going to move and navigate. But once we hit all 12 neighborhoods, then the neighborhood presidents, who are the leaders of each one of those neighborhoods, we're going to come together, and that's when we'll begin the strategic thinking. Okay. It's going to take innovation because we have a lot of issues in D8. Yes. And to shore some of that up, we're going to need a detailed 5-year strategic plan just to even break ground. It's going to take more than one term. It's going to take several terms, to be honest with you, probably 3 or 4 to even break even.
Mhm.
But after 4 years, did he do what he said he was going to do? Does it look better? Is the streets cleaner? Is the neighborhoods in a better shape than I left it? Are we investing in the schools that we can? Are we bringing in the business community to see what they need, which is a part of that leadership council? Right now, we don't have a business alliance. Well, there's two, but there's no unity. So one of the things I want to do is I want to unify DA. That's why I'm even strategic, Joe, on even my logo.
Mhm.
If you look at my logo, which is different from anybody else's, there are 12 stars. And each one of those stars represents a neighborhood.
Okay.
I'm intentional about bringing this thing together.
So, as I'm listening to you, here's what I hear the problem going to be.
Okay.
For me personally.
Yeah.
We as Black people are crabs in a barrel. I'm just call it for what it is. The people know
It
me,
is.
right? I'm just being honest. And it's tough to get people to do something when you're crabs in a barrel.
It is.
And this is the problem I see any politician having, not just you. Crabs in the barrel in the political realm, because nobody wants to see somebody outdo them in their district. And then we're crabs in the barrel in our residential neighborhood, right? And where I see other people thrive at, even though they're crabs in the barrel, they get greedy when it's time to make it look good and do what they got to go do. The crabs in the barrel may come behind closed doors or talking about somebody, but they get it done. I think the sweet sauce for any politician, right, is how do you get it done going in knowing that you have that type of mentality, because you have it, right? But this has to trickle down,
Right.
And it starts with you.
Absolutely.
So when we talking about this, how do you plan to do that part of it?
For me,
Mhm.
it's what I've been doing with the kids, what I've
Okay.
been doing with seniors for the last 13, 14 years.
Mhm.
Everything starts with education.
Okay.
Educating them on policy, educating them on property value, educating them on the mental health component, educating them on how businesses will come. The education piece is the first thing we have to do. The people have to be informed. Informed people become happy people. Once they become educated, we can move to empowerment. Then you can get into engagement. But a
Mhm.
lot of times, Joe, you know this, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care.
Right.
I'm gonna love the people. I'm gonna listen to the people. And then you earn the ability to lead the people. Leadership is earned. And when we as men, this is why I would start with the men, when we as men lead the way, everything else falls in place. I'll give you a story. You remember when Larry was first elected?
Larry Langford.
Larry Langford.
Yes.
He held a
Fairfield.
men-only
Mhm.
meeting at Fair Park.
Mhm.
Brought in the casket.
Mhm.
Remember that?
Mhm.
What happened after that?
Movement.
It moved
Just
the
movement.
west side.
Yeah.
That was before the crossplex and all that. But cleanups, we cleaned it up. Crime was low, really low at that time. We got it together because the men took the lead.
Do you think we're there now, though?
We are.
You think these?
We are.
You think these young men are ready to do that?
Man, these young men are more bolder than we are. They just bold in another way.
Mhm.
We need leadership. We need solid leadership. And someone who is from there. See, it's a good thing to live in the district as long as I have, because I've seen the ebbs and the flows. I've seen it when it was my first roller coaster ride was right there at the Fair Park, right?
Understood.
The Woolworth,
Yeah.
the Zares.
I remember when Zara was right there, bro.
Yeah,
In the bowling,
Zares,
in the
in the
08
bowling
bowling alley,
alley.
in the pool hall down there.
So what I see is when resources leave, a lot of times it's on purpose the way things are left, because a lot of those properties are neglected on purpose, intentionally. You got slumlords.
Mhm.
Changing the mentality from renting to owning is a process.
Let me ask you this, because I don't know the answer to this, and I probably should. In the area, especially in the Inslee downtown district area, is this still owned by whites or is it owned by us?
We don't have ownership for it. 40% of our community is ownership.
Hmm.
That means 60% is rentals. Yeah.
So
and
that's
a
gonna be
lot
a
of the
problem,
rentals
too.
are not local.
And that's going to be a problem.
That's big problem because they're not here to see the property,
Yeah.
right? So they're depending on contractors, and we have a lot of transit. So they may be here 2 years, but then they go, because the goal is not to rent forever, right?
Right.
So you go buy, or with poverty being as high as it is in our community, people move around. So there's no ownership, and it's hard to have stability without ownership.
Mm. There are some other trends that I'm seeing in our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Can we talk about it?
Let's do it.
Um, in places like Ansley, West End, Fairfield, you have people that coming in and say, "We buy houses."
Yeah.
Right? Corporations saying, "We buy houses at any cost." They're knocking on your door, right? Calling your phones, right? Offering you $40,000, $50,000 for your house. And some people, may do that, or have out of town people. I think that's a problem.
It is.
Reason why I'm saying this is because those people don't care about District 8, right?
Right.
And so it's a two-part question here. What do you plan to do about that? And then the other part is, how can we educate our people, right, not to sell unless someone is moving into the neighborhood? Because the money, I mean, you can't dictate people's circumstance. I get that part of it.
Right.
But what people don't understand is, I'm a businessman. I see where the trends is going. Corporations now are buying neighborhoods, right? And then people are actually renting from their corporation. You're working for the company, and you're giving the company back their money because you never own your home.
Correct.
Right. And a lot of times they come into neighborhoods like Inslee, whatever, and buy those homes for cheap. And it may give you a little bit of property value, or right at the property value level what they want to get it to you for. But then they're renting in your neighborhood, and the renters, no slight to renters, but they sometimes don't care about the home, about the grass, about the noise, right?
Right.
You live in this neighborhood, you done renovated your house, got everything going good. All of a sudden you got a renter over here that they couldn't rent because it was in a certain area. So they dropped the rent. When you drop the rent, what happens? Right? Dropping the rent at the end of the day brings in a lower educated
Correct.
tenant, is what I would say.
Correct.
So to that, what you say what?
Okay, so that's a layered question, which goes back to what my whole premise for running really is to educate. Right? Everything starts with education. How do we educate? Whether that's newsletter, whether that's podcast, whether that's radio, media, but we have to get that message out. Right? And once we get the message out and get the literature out and get it into people's hands and get it into their ears so it can get into their hearts and their spirits, now that educated man won't sell the house for pennies on the dollar.
Or he'll fix his house up and sell it to somebody and get his own money.
Right. Because see, it's hard to know about ownership if you don't own. Right? If I'm always depending on landlord to cut the grass, I'm always depending on a landlord to fix it, I don't have that thought process on how to save to get it fixed. Right? So, and it all goes back to economics as well. We have to teach now. And that don't just start with where I am right now. We have to go back into the schools and teach the necessary components of what we got to do. As a teacher, I can tell you firsthand, the last 2 years, but especially this last year, new strategy, new initiative comes in. They're teaching financial literacy now, right? Man, those guys are loving the investments, but they're learning ownership. They're learning on how to buy property and flip it. They're learning this in high school now. Man, if we'd had that back when I was in high school,
it'd been different.
It is a whole different game. So you see,
different ball game.
As the generations and the cultures advance, education advances it. Okay. Behind that, we also got to actually partner with our lobbyists. We have to get lobbyists, which I'm an advocate for the city council having its own lobbyists. The situation, I can advocate for it.
Okay.
Yeah, we can advocate for that to be in the budget. Absolutely. Even its own lawyer. You have to have separation of powers. You have to. Separation of powers makes the government better. It does. And like the situation with the waterworks, that doesn't really happen and catch the council off guard if they got their own lobbyists, right? Or if they got their own legal team. But now everything goes through the mayor's office. And so having the people to understand is a very big component. I do it every Sunday. It's a challenge every Sunday. But at the end of the day, you want your constituents to be better next week, next month than they were this week and this month. And that all starts with the educational process. That is the goal for empowerment. You got to
So
start.
if you're elected in your first term, what I'm hearing, right, is that the most important piece is going to be education.
Education and empowerment. Absolutely. Because I got to build the community pride. We don't have pride. See, you clean up what you take care of what you love, right? So if I love Ensley like I do, I clean it up. I don't mind cleaning it up. And several models are out there. You got Baltimore, which is the birthplace of redlining. You got the organizations in Detroit, organizations in Mobile. They're all led by us, men, rolling up them sleeves. And then once we do it, guess what? We bring our sons along. Now we're teaching them the value of loving where you stay. See, for us and for several years now, decades, I get mine, I get out. We have to reverse that cycle because, man, Bush Hills is still beautiful.
Yes.
Bellevue is still beautiful. Ensley Highlands is still beautiful. It just needs some love and some tender care.
You know, I tell people all the time, right? If you took those houses and put them in Homewood, right? It's the same house. Those houses are worth 80, 90,000. That same house, right, in Homewood is worth 300,000 or 400,000.
Facts.
And the only difference is because the neighborhood is well better taken care of. That's
Facts.
the only difference. And their city council and their mayor knew how to work together and cultivate. If you go down to Homewood, those little shopping places that they have, they're no different than what you would see in Ensley, right? However, right, there's money and people behind that goes in and support. This is what I see a lot of, man. And
we don't even have a good food choice.
We now Carver Market now. Carver Jones Marketplace.
Fairfield.
That's okay, but okay, yeah. But I you know, I got to get, you know, I love him. Yeah.
And I met him, great guy.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll expand his market a little bit. Here soon.
But that is Fairfield, yeah.
But that's the closest we got. Like our people deserve healthy food choices.
Yes.
Right. Well, one thing that I can say it's a part of that initiative that I love. My wife is a gardener, and I've seen how easy it is, but I've seen the work that it takes. Those are jobs right there. And there are grants readily available to start some high tunnels. As a matter of fact, Bush Hills has one. But we can duplicate that model throughout the district. Now, the people, especially our seniors who love flowers and gardening, they do. It gives them something to do and keeps their minds sharp and active. But then we got food choices now. We can grow our own tomatoes. We can grow our own cucumbers and squash and the things we can. I've seen this done.
I love it. From there. Yeah.
I understand it's because I talk mental health. What they also don't have is somewhat with the expertise that I have. I've worked with bipolar 1 and 2. I've worked with depression. I've worked with schizophrenia. I've worked with schizoaffective. I've worked with them on my caseload when I worked in Irondale. But I've also seen how they were taken advantage of. And I've also seen these are the people that are sometimes on the corner. It's not all addictions, Joe. A lot of those people stay in illegal boarding homes. These boarding homes are really land sharks. They almost rental sharks. They get about $800 on a given month. They don't fix income. You're charging them $650, $675. You're supposed to register with the Jefferson County Health Department because you're supposed to be set up like a restaurant almost. 3 meals a day, making sure adequate living space. But they charge you $675. If I charge you $650, you make $800. You got $150 to live for the month. What you gonna do?
Not much.
Where you gonna go?
Not many places.
All right. So here's where policy comes in. Federal policy, they can't make any money because they're on disability. So if they're gonna make money on a legal job, their benefits are gonna be cut off, right? They can't keep a job because of their mental capacity. So what do? I turn to what I know. But if we create centers and avenues, they can work. some of them can work, even if it's volunteering, and earn the extra food, earn the things that they need. Because a lot of them, they depend on EBT, which is about to be cut. So policy is going to affect them even more because Medicaid is cut as well.
So, what you saying that, Jay?
Yeah.
I love it. How long is that going to take?
Actually, the city has already invested in mental health greatly. Increased its funding this year in the budget of 590 plus. But having someone on the council that knows the good therapists, knows the good centers, that actually has the expertise, we don't have that, and we haven't had it. But you got it now. You have a fresh choice and a fresh face to bring that aspect, because that is the people that are walking around. You see them as you're driving around. They're looking like zombies. They zoned out, or even experiencing some psychosis. You remember the guy that used to ride down Avenue W with the steering wheel? Former client.
Wow.
Former client. So, and it's hundreds of them. We also have another issue in our area. So with the boarding homes, we also have a lot of halfway houses. And the problem with that is, after they transition from where they are and they get into the halfway house and they complete the program,
Then what?
there's a gap. That's why they turn back to, now they're going to be squatters because they don't have anywhere to go. A lot of them don't have IDs, they can't vote. It's a whole list of issues that they have. So they stay where they are because they're comfortable now. And some of the issues, prostitution comes along with that. Of course, drugs, because some of them relapse, because what we have to shore up that society, and that all falls under mental health. As a matter of fact, murder itself, homicides, falls under mental health. Everything starts with the mind.
Man, I'm listening to you talk about the things that need to be done in District 8, right? That's a lot.
It is.
That's you ready for that?
I'm born ready. I didn't just start leading. I watched my father. My father and his friends, they started a group, Men of Distinction. And I don't know how long you've been in the area, but every year they would host the Easter egg hunt at Willie Mays Park. Because I'm originally from Fairfield.
Okay.
But they were also, man, I've seen my dad get up, they pay bills, they would take care of the neighbors, the seniors, they had senior
when we cared about
visibility.
each other.
Bingo, right? When the neighborhood had neighbor, we don't have neighborhood anymore because neighbor is missing. We don't know each other.
Right.
So we don't like each other, we don't love each other. That's why we can hurt each other. And so, but I watched how my dad served. I watched how those guys did it. Everything about my life has been leadership. I wanted to play receiver. Coach said, you're going to be quarterback. I want to just go to work, which is how I started. But I worked and grind while I wasn't going to high school. Like, I gets it done. I know, and I'm not going to stop till I get it done. So it's going to take some time.
It's going to take a lot of time.
But that's why I said strategic thinking, strategic planning is going to be key, because you can't do it all in one term. You can't. It's going to take several terms. But it's kind of like going back to Larry.
Are you willing to leave the playbook though? Because
absolutely, because it ain't again. That's why it's District 8 agenda. It ain't about me.
Sure.
I'm not in it for political gain. I'm not in it for the fanfare. I'm not your typical everyday politician. I'm just a brother that loves people and that's tired of what I see. I'm tired of the homicides. I'm tired of 40% of the homicides in my district. Right? I'm tired of that. That young man that got killed last year on my block was the first time since 2008, since I've lived there, that something that tragic happened. And hearing my wife's voice, hearing my neighbor's voice, walk down the street and just blow his brains out. Like, if that don't lead you to change, then you don't care. And so instead of complain about it, that's not me. I roll up my sleeves, I raised my hand, and I told God, here I am. Send me.
I want to ask you this off of politics for a second. Who's your team?
My team?
Yeah, not political team. On your worst days, right?
Yeah.
Who got Jay? Who's gonna hold you down?
My wife, my best friend, My strategist was also a really, really good friend. Um, my deacons are great guys. And then I got a therapist. The work that I do, man, you have to be able to unpack. And I struggled with this. And what a lot of people don't know, I went into depression at 17, man. It took me like 2, 3 years to get out of that thing.
Mm.
Because after funerals and I'm new to the pastorate, just deep, it just you feel isolated as a pastor anyway. And I was down in there. And at that time I realized the importance of self-care. So I take pauses, I take breaks, I take mental health breaks. Every teacher will tell you, they laugh at me, Jay.
Mm.
COVID really taught me a lot.
Okay.
Right? Every month, I take me a mental health day.
Okay.
And what I noticed is, once I tell people, they're like, why you take off so much? I said, see, y'all trying to save days.
Mm-hmm. Take them.
I ain't promised to live them.
Right.
To get them at the end. I'm going to enjoy life. Because when I lost my uncle, who was my mentor, he was a pastor, he was my guy, he was about to retire. Didn't make it.
Mm.
And so for me, I'm not waiting to the end. I'm going 100 now. Jesus said, you got to work while it's day, because night come and no man can work. So I'm working now. But when I take my breaks, I take them.
Speaking of your lovely wife, you have kids?
I have a son. His name's Jace. He's 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your daddy run and the husband running for, because you're the pastor, right?
Yeah.
She had to endure that.
Yeah.
Right. You teaching, she had to endure that.
Yeah.
And now you, Jay, you came from the run for city council.
Yeah. That was a conversation. That was a whole conversation. So my wife teaches as well. So we're both educators, and we've both been serving in that capacity since the early 2000s.
Okay.
The very first thing she said to me is, you want to do that? Like literally, you want to do that? And I'm like, I do. I don't want to do it. I need to do it. And so we prayed about it. I took time, maybe about 6 months. I said, you prayed about it enough? And she was like, you got my full support. And so my son, who's used to it, he's 110. He's getting ready to kind of go back to school. So I won't have him on the later half in August, but my family is the biggest supporters in the world. So aunts, uncles, inner family, yeah, we going.
Okay. Man, I appreciate you taking this time doing this one-on-one with me.
I appreciate you having me, man.
But I would be amiss if I didn't do this part here. It's time for you to talk to the people.
Okay.
All right. I want you to tell them why they should vote for J District 8 on the day of voting.
Okay. Again, thanks for this opportunity.
Yes, sir.
D8, we've been neglected. Our communities can do better. You deserve better. And we're going to get it done together. Vote for me August 26th. Jonathan Lee Hatton, a fresh face for a fresh start. Fresh face, but the fresh start is more important because it's time for new beginnings. It's time for new opportunities. Aren't you tired of just the same old same? You get the same campaign speeches and spiels and promises, and at the end of 4 years, nothing has changed. I won't make promises that I can't keep, particularly because the Mayor Council Act prevents a lot of that from happening. But what I will offer you is fresh perspectives, strategic thinking, collaborative partnerships, and a plan that can be done. Number one, the very first thing I want to do is create a District 8 initiative. That is an agenda where I bring a leadership council together, all 12 neighborhood presidents coming to the table with our business sector, collaborating, innovative thinking, and strategically coming up with that agenda so that we can put a plan in place that we can execute to create the community we want to see. Number two, I want to invest in mental health. I want to invest in real mental health partnerships where we're in the schools, we're at the jobs, and we're in the community. Number three, which is most importantly, we're going to have neighborhood cleanups. We're going to clean up on a quarterly basis. One block at a time, one street at a time, one community at a time. We're going to create the community we want to see and not wait on the government to come save us. We're going to create that ourselves. Number 4, which I think is the most important, and that is when you vote for Jonathan Lee Hatton, you're voting for a person of integrity, transparency, who will love you, who will listen to you, but most importantly, from my experience, I know how to lead you. Vote me August 26th, and let's create the District 8 we want to see.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Doc.
That's a good one. All right, y'all. Good luck to Jonathan out there on the campaign trail, man. Y'all look him up. He told you where you can find him. This is your boy Joe Lockett, 101. When you want the truth, you want it unfiltered. Y'all know where to come to. Thank y'all. See you next time.